An NBA offseason is never a dull time despite the lack of action on court. And that's largely because it's a time when fans get to watch and anticipate who will get traded into their team. However, it isn't always a rosy and fun time for everyone. Because while some fans get to watch their team get stronger with new acquisitions in hopes of building their title credentials, other fans have to watch their team get weaker. Nonetheless, during the offseason, there's always player movement and NBA trade rumors that keep you busy all summer long. The 2021 NBA offseason has been full of many surprises. From Russell Westbrook going to the LA Lakers to OKC Thunder signing Kemba Walker, this offseason has been quite entertaining. And on that note, let's take a look at the top trades the NBA teams have made so far. To be honest, Kemba Walker to OKC was a deal that never seemed right from the get-go. And when the announcement was made back in July, we were all asking ourselves, where was he going to fit? What was the plan? Until news came in the early days of the month of August saying that Walker had reached a contract buyout with the Thunder and was set to sign with the Knicks. Walker had 2 years left on his contract with the Thunder and $74 million left on his deal, but his new contract with the Knicks is reportedly for 2 years. And if the numbers are indeed true, which they are, Walker will be giving up about $20 million to play for the Knicks. Kemba signed a $16 million contract with the Knicks for the next 2 seasons. The only thing is that the second season has been reported as a team option, so the loss on Kemba's end may be a little more painful if the second year of the contract is not realized. The 31-year-old point guard spent his first 8 seasons in Charlotte before moving to Boston 2 seasons ago. Last season, he averaged 19.3 points, 4.9 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. However, Walker dealt with a knee injury that he couldn't quite shake off, and as a result, he was limited to just 43 games last season. He was also forced to miss Boston's final 2 playoff games in the first round loss to Brooklyn. The Thunder acquired Walker and the 16th pick in the 2022 draft from the Celtics in a trade back in June. The Thunder sent centers Al Horford and Moses Brown to Boston, and the team swapped second-round picks. From the Thunder's perspective, it seems like they've already received value for Walker by getting the 16th pick. Walker and the Thunders were never a good fit to begin with. Some sources in Walker's circle have stated that Walker wants to play for a competitive team at this point of his career. And the Thunder weren't going to give that to Walker, or minutes at the expense of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And other young guards like Teo Maledon, Ty Jerome, and first-round picks, Trey Mann and Josh Giddey. Walker was just a Thunder for a couple of months, and the 31-year-old was never formally introduced by the team. Either way, it's a great deal for the Knicks and for Kemba himself. For the Knicks, they'll be getting probably the best point guard they've had in decades, even if Kemba is just about 75% of what he once was. Not only did the acquisition of Walker provide the Knicks with a chance to trumpet the return of a New York City icon to Madison Square Gardens, it also presented them with a low-risk, high-reward opportunity to grab Walker on a discount. For Walker, it's a chance to return home to where it all started and try to return to the player who became an all-star 4 times. The Sacramento Kings made a surprisingly early move at the start of the NBA's free agency by swapping reserve guard Delon Wright for the veteran big man Tristan Thompson. This move is one of the few moves that no one saw coming, and it was likely made with the intention to strengthen the front court depths. But it feels a little perplexing given that there were several reports that indicated that the Kings were mainly interested in re-signing Richaun Holmes. So yes, this was a complete shocker when the deal was announced early August. In the trade, the Kings sent Delon Wright to the Atlanta Hawks, while the Hawks sent Chris Dunn, Bruno Fernando, and a 2023 second-round pick to the Boston Celtics. While this move makes sense for Sacramento from a roster balancing perspective, it makes less sense from a talent perspective because it's pretty clear that the Kings traded the best player they have, Delon Wright. Wright was solid for the Kings in the 27 games he played for them following his acquisition at the trade deadline, and he averaged 10 points and 3.6 assists per game. With him on the bench, they had a player they could count on to make things happen. Thompson, on the other hand, has not been as great in his first and only season with the Celtics, and he wasn't the favorite guy in the Boston locker room either. When you think about how the Kings play, the reason for this trade becomes even more perplexing because Thompson doesn't run the floor particularly well. He doesn't play above the rim in the pick and roll, he doesn't block the shots either, and these are all the things that are needed in the Kings system. Thompson will undoubtedly bring toughness, positional defense, and rebounding. He's a solid veteran who has plenty of playoff experience, including a championship ring and 4 trips to the NBA Finals. The Chicago Bulls are in the bubble of one of the most noteworthy off-seasons in the last decade, one which they themselves have included multiple flashy signings to their roster. Whisper it quietly, but maybe, just maybe, the Bulls might be back. One of the biggest pieces of news this offseason was when the Chicago Bulls acquired small forward DeMar DeRozan on a 3-year contract worth $85 million as part of a sign-in trade with the San Antonio Spurs. The Bulls get DeRozan while San Antonio will land Thaddeus Young, a future first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. The Spurs are likely to also get Al-Farouq Aminu, DeRozan continues to develop his game, and he was very efficient in the 2019-20 season, averaging 22.1 points per game while still setting a career high with 53.1% shooting. And although his shots last season didn't match that of the 2019 season, his 122 offensive rating per 100 possessions was the best of his career. The 31-year-old also provided a veteran presence on an inexperienced roster, especially after the Spurs lost LaMarcus Aldridge. And he helped the Spurs earn a spot in the play-in tournament. While there's no doubt that San Antonio will move forward with its younger talents, DeRozan, on the other hand, can help the Bulls move towards contention for the NBA title as one of the most consistent scorers in the NBA. The 9th overall pick of the 2009 draft class has earned 4 All-Star selections during his final 5 years with the Raptors, including his 2016-17 season where his 27.3 points per game performance ranked number 5 in the league. DeRozan's two-way ability could stand out even more with the Bulls, who hope to end a streak of 4 straight years without featuring in the playoffs. Scoring has been an issue for the Bulls, finishing 21 in offensive efficiency in 2020-21. By adding another scorer alongside Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine could make Chicago an interesting team to watch next season, but that's not the only offensive coup the Bulls made. It took only a few days of NBA free agency for the Bulls to go from an Eastern Conference hopeful to an all-star, veteran-laden team that should go toe-to-toe with the best of the best in the conference. And it all began with one signing this offseason: the signing of Lonzo Ball. The Chicago Bulls didn't just announce the signing of Lonzo Ball within seconds of the beginning of the free agency negotiation on the evening of August 2nd. There was a sign-and-trade announced for this deal. For this deal, the Bulls included a second-round draft pick, veteran shooting guard Garrett Temple, and combo guard Thomas Satoransky to New Orleans. Ball, on the other hand, signed a 4-year contract with the Bulls that would see him earn $85 million over the course of that period. Ball will go from teaming with dynamic power forward Zion Williamson to joining Olympian Zach LaVine, 2-time All-Star center Nikola Vucevic, and high-scoring small forward DeRozan. Ball will slot in at a point guard position where he can play with Nikola Vucevic and Zach LaVine as Chicago tries to take the next step to be one of the leading forces in the Eastern Conference. At New Orleans, Ball's role for the Pelicans became that of an off-wing who could control the offense in the open court and cede duties to Williamson in the half-court. In this new-look Bulls, Ball will have an opportunity to again run the offense. The number 2 draft pick of the 2017 draft class had an up-and-down performance in his first 4 seasons in the NBA since he was drafted by the Lakers. He had some difficulty living up to expectations in LA, and he was later traded to New Orleans as part of a blockbuster deal that sent Anthony Davis to the Lakers. However, when he got to New Orleans, he had to change his shooting mechanics, and once he was able to do this, his game improved. I believe it wasn't the shooting mechanics that really changed his game. The breath of fresh air was also helpful. At New Orleans, he didn't have to deal with so much attention and expectations, and that allowed him to really focus on his game. In his second season at New Orleans, he averaged career highs of 14.6 points and 5.7 assists per game and started to show why there was so much talk about him. Last season, Ball hit a career high of 172 three-pointers while making a career best of 37.8 of his shots from deep. The Bulls now have an interesting team that everyone should watch out for, but the key to making everything work will be Ball's ability as a playmaker to help facilitate things for DeRozan, Zach, and Nikola Vucevic. His skill at running the open floor should make Chicago's transition offenses very good after it ranked 27th in percentage of shots in transition last season. The biggest signing this season is without a doubt this one. The Los Angeles Lakers shook the entire NBA, and the whole of the social media erupted when news dropped that the Purple and Gold franchise had in fact gotten 2017 MVP winner Russell Westbrook in a blockbuster move. The Lakers acquired Russell and 3 future second-round picks from the Washington Wizards in exchange for Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, and the draft rights to Isaiah Jackson. The 32-year-old, who is NBA's all-time leader in triple-doubles, a 9-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champion, 3-time assists leader, and a 1-time Olympian, joined the Lakers in seeking his first NBA championship. The Lakers had a pool of options to choose from, and rather than making some minor tweaks to their roster, the franchise went on to do what they've always done throughout their illustrious history, and that is to grab the biggest star available, and remodel everything around him in the process. The only difference this time is that Westbrook will be the one remodeling his game, as he will be teaming up with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. This is easily one of the best teams on paper, but this is not your typical plug-and-play big three. Let's take the Nets for example. It was easy to think about how KD, James Harden, and Kyrie would complement each other on a basketball court, even before they ever stepped on the floor together. Of course, there is the defensive liability that comes with fielding the 3 of them together, but their shared abilities of shot creation, shooting, and isolation had a vibrant and deep effect on one another. The 3 of them have been limited to just a few games together, but when they were all healthy enough to start, one star went to work against a compromised defense, still attempting to account for the potential danger of one of the other two, unguarded away from the ball. For instance, KD's ball denials enabled layups from Kyrie, and Harden finished off the combo with his stepbacks and precise shooting ability. Each star took his turn at slicing through the defense like a hot knife through butter. It's still unclear to see how handing over the keys to the Lakers' office to Russell Westbrook makes the NBA's most potent pairing of stars any better, if not worse, actually. That's not to say that Westbrook will offer this Lakers team nothing. It would be delusional to think so. Westbrook has a handful of many unique talents that could provide something new and unique to the Lakers, especially if they find a way to reduce his more glaring flaws, such as his terrible shooting. Westbrook will no doubt hamper the Lakers' weak pacing, but he fits the bill for an aggressive point guard perfectly. The Lakers have been building their brand lately as a physical team that can play lockdown defense in the latter stages of the game, so having Westbrook is a plus for the team and their style of play. Westbrook's tenacity should help them bag a record 18th NBA championship in the upcoming season. Comment below to let us know your thoughts, and be sure to subscribe for more. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss another one of our videos. We'll see you next time, latest Hoops fans. Until then, keep shooting your shot!